Well, we are live here, Coffee with Humans, with my soon-to-be new friend from across the sea, Adam Parr. Welcome to Coffee with Humans.
No, you're welcome. It's great to be on your show.
Well, I'm curious. We got connected through just some utility that like connects podcasters and videocasters together. People are looking for hosts and people looking for guests and all this other stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, it's called Audrey. I think how you pronounce it, Audrey.
Yeah, I think so. What inspired you though to have coffee with me? Why'd you click the button?
Yeah, no, I just moved to that website Audrey, and your podcast kind of stood out to me because I was like, I've never been on a podcast, like yours before, really, and I just kind of like vibed with it. I just kind of had a good feeling about it, so I just thought I'd send an email across.
Yeah, it's interesting. It is kind of one of these odd things that it's live, and I meet my guests about 8 minutes before we go live. And as you know, we discussed virtually nothing, certainly nothing of any consequence before we go live. It's like meeting a stranger in a parking lot or something, and then like, hey, you want to have coffee?
Yeah. So how you doing? How's your day?
Exactly. So tell me, this Parrsitivity Podcast, what is that about?
Yeah, so my surname's Parr, and I'm qualified in coaching a couple of years ago, and I basically had an idea a few years ago to start a podcast because I watch a lot of Joe Rogan and a lot of Gary Vee, and I just have a general interest in people. I like connecting with people, and talking about certain topics around positivity, mindset, and I had the idea of doing a podcast, so I was like, oh, why not do it around positivity? Put the words together, Parrsitivity. And I've done around 186 episodes this year, and just really focused on it, connected with people from different walks of life, and just thought, I do a podcast around providing value, positivity, mental health, and it's kind of gone from there, really.
Awesome. What have been the highlights from folks that you've talked to?
Wow, it's a good question. I'd say listening to their stories, connecting with people and, hearing, their stories and the things that they've gone through, it really kind of makes you think about things and can change your perspective on life.
Mm-hmm.
Quite moving.
Okay. So getting to this point where you created a podcast, what you were looking at these other folks that you obviously were listening to Joe Rogan or to Gary Vee, and you were consuming all of their content. You decided to throw yourself in the mix, and for what? What was the reason behind that?
Yeah, no, I decided to do it because I want to provide value, and I think I started this back in January, and I basically do it on my phone in my car, and I kind of, thought, why not provide something that provides value and positivity? Because, this current time this year has been pretty challenging. Yeah. And, I know how it is and I know how it feels to be, in a not so good place. And I kind of got into mental health because I had an accident when I was like 14 where I fell through a skylight on a roof.
Wow.
And I kind of fell down and I cut my arm open and things like that. And very lucky. But around that time, I was chasing my ego, and that was a wake-up call for me. And then over time, I had like PTSD, anxiety, and depression. So not very good time. And when I came through that, I got into mental health, and now it's kind of come full circle, really. I've tried different jobs out, tried different courses, and then kind of thought, why not go into coaching? So I kind of fell into it, and I just thought, why not provide value to other people?
That seems to be a common theme for a lot of folks who I encounter this year. That it's all the challenges I think that are presented just through circumstances outside of our control. People seem to be gravitating toward this idea of like, we need to redeem this time. We need to redeem our experiences to not only for ourselves, but really to present it to a broader group of people to make a difference in the world.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And I think, this year, like people have been kind of disconnected from people, but they've also been this kind of connectedness through, the use of technology. And I think it's great that you can share your story, or you can, help other people. And, like with this platform and podcasting and videos, you don't know who's going to be listening or who needs to listen to it, and it can change their day,
Yeah. That's kind of a challenge to get through, I think. I mean, at least for me, maybe it's not for you. This idea of we're going to produce something, and instead of judging it so harshly, just throw it out there, because you never know who's consuming it and what difference it'll make for them. In fact, I got a message earlier today from a gentleman on LinkedIn, just some random person saying, "Hey, I listened to your podcast. I really like the format." And I'm like, okay.
Yeah, it's awesome. And I think there's a lot of challenges that come with creating content and putting things out on the internet. I mean, I did I think 60 episodes to begin with on audio before I merged to video, because I was worried about what other people are going to think about it.
Yeah.
And I put off doing a podcast for 2 years because I was worried about what people are going to think about it. And I think the kind of world we live in, a lot of people judge things, and it's easy for them to put a comment and say, "Oh, that's not very good," or X, Y, Z.
Yeah.
And so a lot of the time, I think we get like limited kind of things that hold us back from probably posting something, or we second guess it. And I think we live in a world where a lot of people compare themselves to other people or what the next person's doing. So we kind of come up against all these challenges before we've even done something or even posted it. So I mean, I think like the more you do something, you kind of it gets a bit easier. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
But it's still sometimes you come up against that.
One of the things you just mentioned there is that the idea of judging something before you even produced it. Do you find that with the folks that you coach, that there's a it's almost like you want to step out of your house, but you're like, as soon like don't bother opening the door. I'll just stay in here. It's like we have these things that we want to create in our minds, and we want to express them in the universe, but we're like, no. As soon as I step out that door, just everybody's gonna be like laughing at me. Haha, or nobody's gonna show up. Or gonna be like, you have your moment, like, and nobody's there. Okay, bye.
Yeah. No, exactly. I mean, people experience that, and I think people, they get stuck, and that can be based on, like you said, like mistakes or things that happened in the past. Or you put it out an episode, it doesn't do as well as you want it to, or it doesn't get as many likes, that kind of thing. And it can play on us sometimes, and I think that's just always a challenge. I think that kind of does go away, but kind of doesn't go away. If that makes sense. Well, I think especially in our field of creating things as well.
Yeah, I admire people who seem to have an easier time with that. The idea of creating something and not judging it before it's had an opportunity to get out there, because there is a bit of pressure behind, is it good enough? Will people care about it? And then how do you measure that even? Because we know that, like, for instance, this videocast podcast is listened to all around the world, and I've got metrics on that, and the people who are listening in remote places are not just my friends. They're random people, and so, and once in a while something comes back and I'm like, hey, I really enjoy listening to that. Really enjoy watching it. I just love what you're doing. Right. And people engage with it. It's great. But the question is, and I look at the metrics like, okay, is it doing as well as I think it should? Right. And I don't know sometimes, like, how well could it be doing? What do I need to do to, increase the value? Is it valuable enough? All these questions that circle around. How do you see that people move through that point? Or how do you move through that point?
Yeah, that's a good question. I would say the way I kind of learned to look at it now. I mean, it's taken time to get to the point where I can think this way now. But the way I see it is, say you get 400 listeners or 500 downloads or whatever it is, out of that 500, I don't really focus on the number just for the number. I think that is still, 200 people, 300 people. And, one of those people, might be going through something difficult. They might be a CEO of a company. And I kind of express a lot of gratitude towards that, for getting the listeners. Because I moved from Anchor to Captivate, which is a different host. And I've seen like more in-depth analytics, and I think like a lot of the time we can sometimes expect to hit a certain amount of numbers. We can sometimes, I think, feel a certain way if we don't, and I think it's a challenge. But I think, I'm quite grateful for the that anyone that does listen. I don't really aim to hit a certain kind of number when I do an episode. I just kind of put it out there, and if whatever happens, kind of happens. But I think like it's a bit like the stock. I've kind of learned it's a bit like the stocks and shares. It's constantly up and down. So I'm like, okay.
Right. Yeah. And you never know what's gonna hit, what people are gonna engage with. From a coaching perspective, what do you think this has done to people? Because I think before content creators got on this like machine, like and I'm, judging ourselves by this. Social media was, hey, we're just connecting with people. And I posted a picture. I was on a trip or something like that. And then not enough people liked it. That particular friend didn't, react to it. How do you feel that social media has impacted us in our, maybe even deeper than our minds, but in our spirits about how we live our lives and how we engage externally with people?
Yeah, no, I think that's a really good question as well. And I think like social media has like positives and negatives. I think it's a tool, and I think it's how you use it ultimately. But there are those sides to it where people live in a world where we feel differently if we don't get likes that we want. And I think it comes down to like gratification, and it makes you feel good when you get those likes or if you hit a certain number. And if you don't, then you feel you can feel negative. And I think we compare us. There's a lot of comparing to what other people are doing, and it's a lot of it comes from like patience and putting that out there, trying not to expect certain things in return, and just kind of wanting to provide value. And I think just putting something out there and liking it because that resonates with you, or you want it to resonate with other people. I think that's kind of like, it's tricky because a lot of people are so caught up in that. But I think to kind of ground yourself in that is just kind of, be happy for who you are, and try not to post things to try and, fuel that feeling inside, because it's kind of a temporary thing, and you'll just be consistently on that treadmill trying to post stuff to feel a certain way. It's kind of feel good.
Do you think that people are aware of that feeling? And I guess let me clarify what I mean by that feeling. I think there's one thing to post something because I just simply want to express it out there. I'll talk about me. Like I post, hey, I made this meal or something like that. And I'm a geek. I take pictures of my food. The food that I make. And sometimes the food that I eat at places, whatever. It's like, if it's super cool, I'll be like, hey, look at that. Only because I have a terrible memory and I like to remember these things. So anyhow, let's say I post that out there. If it's just for me, it's just like, hey, I just like to share it with anybody. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, that's fine with me. I don't, no skin off my back. There's that. And then there's I post it out there and I'm secretly hoping, like I need some feedback. And if I don't get feedback, then I start to not feel good about myself. Do you think that people are aware even of that line, or is that sort of insidious and just kind of creeps in, or what's your experience?
I think we've all been there, or we all go to that place where we put things on social media, and it can make us feel a certain way, or we put something out there, and like subconsciously, like you said, we kind of do want a response, even though we don't have that kind of intention with it. And I definitely had it. Putting things out there and affecting my self-esteem because it's not got recognition that I kind of wanted it to have. And I think a lot of the time people aren't aware of it. Some people aren't aware of it. It's kind of like on autopilot, but it becomes an addiction, and some people aren't aware of it. But I think it depends, what people are posting. I mean, there are people out there who are very good at carpentry. They might be very good at baking, and when they post, a picture of the things that they've baked, it might not get many likes. But when they post a picture of their baking, it might get many likes. And I think it's the same with social media. People But if they post a picture of themselves with their top off or in doing something else, then they gets likes. And I think I feel sorry for people who are caught in that loop. And I think, whatever it is that you enjoy, post it. And like you said, if you want likes or people commenting on feedback, just put, what do you think, guys? Or send it to people, DM people. And I think there's different ways of going about it. I think we have to, it's a very, very mindful place that you have to get to kind of recognize that.
Yeah. It's sort of a process. It's kind of my experience.
Yeah. I mean, I'll post videos now and I'll do things, but I kind of go in there I've reached that place where I don't have any expectations. Like I do kind of like it when I get likes, but I don't feel defeated really if I don't get a certain response. That makes sense.
Yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah. I think you previously mentioned that it took you a while to get to the point of creating a video cast. And it took you a while to create a podcast. I remember when I was thinking about doing a podcast, I did this podcast called What Works. I did about 85, 90 episodes or something like that. And they came out every week. Super cool. And I was having a good time with it. I was talking to entrepreneurs, small business owners, and other interesting people. And when it first started out, it was super cool for me, at least. It was like, hey, I'm talking to entrepreneurs and listening to their journeys and that type of stuff. And I wasn't booking people on it, and wasn't doing any of the post-production on it. I had somebody else do it. So I would just show up to an interview with an entrepreneur and just talk about their business. And that ran its course for me because I just kind of felt like I'm personally not getting anything out of this anymore. And I felt like, how could my listeners possibly be getting anything out of this? Which was not, it was interesting. The listeners that I had on that were not having the same experience, or at least not all of them, because when I shut it down, the first thing I got, and I was happy about shutting it down. I was like, oh, I need to take a break from this thing. I can't believe I'm wasting my life on this. Next week or 2 weeks later or something like that, somebody's like, man, are you going to do any more of those? And I was like, oh my gosh, my view of my own creation was not at all what the listeners were experiencing. And it was sort of a wake-up call for two reasons. One was I thought, okay, well, I need to be cognizant of this idea that my perception is not necessarily the viewer or the listener's perception. And I just create it out there. And there are gauges of success, but balance that also with, is it personally moving me forward? Because if I'm going to invest time and energy into something, I've got to feel like it's personally beneficial, and so I relaunched it, interviewing published authors. And it leveled me up in just a whole new scope of individual to speak with. Because for me, at least, the process of writing a book, and I've been terribly unsuccessful at writing the book that I keep talking about writing. The process of writing a book is sort of it's kind of a gateway. It's like you've done enough research into this, or enough about this topic, whatever it is, and done the work of clarifying your message so that you could produce a book that then somehow I come across, I read it, and somehow it speaks to me. And it was when you go through that loop, I was like, oh, we have a lot to talk about. And so I would end up in these hour-long conversations with people on this What Works podcast. It was fantastic. And it was a recrafting. Instead of just talking with any entrepreneur, which I don't want to downplay that. It was very interesting at the time. But it was not, there was like no, I don't know. It was a totally different conversation, right? To be happy with somebody. And then like Coffee with Humans, like I just have a conversation with anybody and make no bones about it. Anybody can schedule coffeewithhumans.com. Schedule it up. We'll talk about anything you want. The only rule is no sales calls. Like we could talk about coffee making. We could talk about the birthday cake I just ate. Doesn't matter. We could talk about how I should eat birthday cake because I'm getting fatter. Like, it doesn't, whatever you want to do. So I don't know. It's interesting that we all fall into this point of judgment. I felt like I was judging myself, which was not at all the viewer's perception, but yet I needed to somehow retain my own value for my own life in the middle of all this stuff, and then just do something. I think at the end of the day, I think maybe that was the lesson for me. Just do something. Get it out there.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, no, exactly. And I think like you said, we can sometimes be our own critic sometimes. It's like I know people who do paintings and they do really good paintings. I'm like, that painting's awesome. They're like, no, it's not. And I'm like, it is. And I think as well, like it's a different perspective, isn't it, when you're doing it yourself, and then when the people who are listening to it as well, because you don't know who's listening to it. You don't know what they're going through. You don't know the things that they've been through, or where they're at. And your show can be something that's they can relate to, or something that they take value from in some way. And I think like ultimately, as a host in a podcast or show, you have to listen to yourself, don't you, and what's right for you. Because if you're kind of not being that best host that you can be, then it's going to affect the show, isn't it? Or if you think there's a change. And I think, like you said, you had entrepreneurs. I think a certain kind of clientele of people might just listen to that only clientele, whereas a lot of people might not be kind of know much about entrepreneurship or not interested in it. Whereas I think like this is very open, isn't it? You can have anyone on, so it's quite exciting to have different people on from different backgrounds. Keeps that kind of curiosity around it, doesn't it? I think.
Yeah. I'm curious. This is totally open-ended, and I don't mean to put you on the spot. What would make this experience super fun?
What this now?
Yeah, this.
Try and think.
Yeah,
I'm having a good time right now, but yeah, I mean,
too.
even if there's like a game or something, or questions or something.
Yeah. All right. Hey, that's a great one. So here's what you want to participate in an experiment with me?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. I think I have a video clip.
Okay, cool.
I'm going to see if this is the right video clip. All right. That's my stupid little intro for Quick Draw. And I hope I'm not stepping on anybody's toes, like no copyright issues or something. All right. So I've got a game. We're going to play this. This is a totally new version, and I want to give a shout out to my friend Kristen, who bought me a game for my birthday. Oh,
awesome!
She brought me this game. It sits in a little box like this. Super fun. I'm going to share my screen. The game's called Whatchamadrawit. Fast action, fun-filled drawing game. So I asked you right before we went live. I asked you if you had a pen and paper.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've got a pen and paper too. I just got these little yellow sheets.
Yeah, of course.
All right, so here's how this is going to work. There is going to be a phrase on the screen. It'll go something like this: draw Santa Claus and Tooth Fairy at a birthday party for the Easter Bunny. We're going to put a timer. We're going to put a timer on this. We won't draw this one. We've got other ones in the bucket here. I'm going to start a timer.
That's insane.
And then we're going to draw it, and then we're going to have to show our video to the screen.
Okay. This is awesome. No pressure.
I know, right? In full disclosure, I am legit a bad artist.
Yeah, I am as well. We'll see what happens.
Oh, you know what I should do? Next time I'll put a timer on the little thing.
Yeah.
Click it and it'll count down. But right now I'm just going to use this phone of mine.
Okay, sweet.
That reminded me of a song. Sweet phone of mine. Yeah. I don't think that's a song.
Sweet China mine.
All right. So normally this is going to be a minute long. I'm going to give us 45 seconds.
Okay, cool. We have to draw this on the screen, or is it different?
You're gonna draw it on your paper, and then when we're done, we'll have to show our paper to the screen.
This one with the Santa Claus we have to draw.
Nope, I'm gonna do the next one.
Okay, cool.
So I'm going to let us look at it briefly. I'll click the button. We'll look at it briefly, and then I'll start our timer for 45 seconds.
Okay, cool.
Okay. All right. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay. And draw a fly with glasses, a cape, and lots of bling. All right. I'm starting a timer now. A fly with glasses, a cape, and lots of bling.
This is a lot harder than it looks.
How many feet do I don't know.
Hey,
I don't know how many feet a fly has.
depends what a fly it is. I think. God, this is
6 seconds, 5 seconds,
holy
4,
hell.
3, 2, 1, and that's it. We're done. Okay. Pens down.
That was the most nerve-wracking 45 seconds of my life.
The whole world is watching you too.
Yeah.
All right.
Do you want me to show mine first?
Sure. All right. Let's.
So there's the fly. He's got like a $sign chain, and then there's a flower.
Oh yes! Wow, that is really good. Oh shoot! I totally forgot all about the bling.
Yeah. So
darn it! All right, that's you were paying closer attention than me.
I'm going to frame that.
Here we go. This is a fly with glasses.
That's pretty cool.
I think I missed the cape.
Oh, I missed the cape.
Bling. Oh shoot!
You missed the bling. I missed the cape. That's pretty cool.
Oh man,
that game's awesome.
Isn't it fun?
Yeah, that's great.
Okay, you are the first person I've ever played this game with, just so you know.
Yeah. That's awesome.
All right, you ready for another one?
Okay, I just threw my paper.
This time I'll give us a full minute. How's that?
Okay, cool.
And then I'm gonna make sure I reread the thing because otherwise I'm gonna totally miss these things again.
Yeah,
it'd be fun if people would vote on these things. What? Min KU, hey, she was on the other day. She says she'll have to come back on to play the game.
Yeah.
She's a coach too.
Oh, awesome.
Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching all of our viewers and our listeners. Sorry, the listeners, you don't even get to see what this is. It's too bad. Watch it on video next time.
Yeah.
All right. Ready for the next one?
Yeah.
Okay. And draw an ice cream cone sitting on top of a bike playing the trumpet. An ice cream cone sitting on top of a bike playing the trumpet.
Okay.
Oh, ice cream cone sitting on top of a bike. Playing the trumpet.
This is crazy.
Does he have hands?
He can have hands, I suppose.
Wow. Okay. So I feel like I'm not sure if this is an ice cream cone or a snowman.
I forgot how to draw a bike. I had to really think about it.
That's because you were too busy drawing an ice cream cone with the trumpet?
Yeah, that's what it is, yeah.
3, 2, 1. All right, that's it. Pens down.
That was intense.
Katie Wixer gave you a win for the fly, by the way.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
You had a really good fly. I like the proboscis on the fly. I didn't have a proboscis. I just had this, just a flat, unfeeling smile.
I spent too much time studying flies. Do you want to show yours? Are you showing yours first? Or do you want me to?
Well, I'll tell you what. I'll show mine first. That's because you
Okay.
went last time and you won. So maybe that's what happens. Whoever goes first wins.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll see.
Oh, interesting.
This is a ice cream cone. I went with the sugar cone thing instead of the traditional non-sugar cone, the cake cone or whatever the heck it's called.
Yeah.
Top of a bike.
That's pretty cool.
Playing the trumpet. Mm-hmm.
That's pretty cool.
All right, what you got?
All right. I just did whatever came to my mind. I don't do this in my own pastime, but
What? Damn. That is classy.
should have gone to art school probably. I think I'm in the wrong.
You're in the wrong field.
Yeah. It's crazy, isn't it? That game's awesome. I want that game.
Isn't that fun?
Yeah. That's
Right,
banging.
let's do one more and then we can move on.
I need to lie down after another one. It's okay. I'll do another one. I don't mind.
I think, yeah, I'm going to give you the win on the. I'm going to give you the win on that one. Oh, hold on. So she says, "Show us a side by side. Who wins?" Okay,
yeah, that's a good idea.
All right, Katie, that's fine. We'll do this for you. That's a good idea. All right. Put pictures up there. Our viewers can tell us who wins the contest here. That is a ice cream cone sitting on top of a bike playing the trumpet. All right. Viewers, what do you think? Who wins the ice cream cone sitting on a bike playing a trumpet? Min K, if you're still listening, we need your help on this. I know that you are more than qualified. Oh, snap. Katie says Adam for the win.
Oh, no, I appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to keep these.
You should. You should totally keep these. This is an exercise. I mean, this is the same thing we've been talking about earlier. It's like you create something, you put it out there. Is it good enough? And we're just doing this totally online here. All right. Yeah. One more.
I love that. Yeah, of course.
This is good. This is good coaching. It's a good coaching exercise.
I think it's good because it's like you're putting things together that you don't really put together. It's like having, I'm trying to think. It's like putting two foods together that you wouldn't really put together. So you're trying to have to picture that, put on paper.
Yes, that's true. Facebook user agreed. Adam wins.
Oh, thanks.
Don't be hating. This is. Yeah. I feel like I'm being ganged up on here.
I was up all last night practicing on this. So no, I'm joking.
The secret is I meet the guests 8 minutes before, but I give them the game like 2 weeks before.
Yeah.
All right. Next one, and then we'll.
Yeah, of course.
Okay. Hold on. I gotta get my timer ready. Oh my gosh, I feel like I can figure out how to do this better. I know I can. All right, here we go. Boop. Draw an animal with an alligator head, a pig body, and monkey feet. Draw an animal with an alligator head, a pig body, and monkey feet. And 1 minute. An animal with an alligator head. I'm having to refresh my alligator heads here.
I went to Florida. I went to Florida once and saw a few alligators. That was pretty crazy.
Oh yeah.
They're just like a normal thing over there. You just see them like wandering around.
Totally. All this talk about pigs makes me want bacon.
Yeah. Monkey. What do monkey feet even look like?
Oh my gosh. Come on. What is this ridiculousness? I feel like pigs are slightly hairy. I don't know why I'm getting into that level of detail.
I actually think they are pretty hairy.
All right. That is your timing. Beep, beep. All right.
This
That
is my
Facebook user who gave you the win, by the way, is the person who got this game for my birthday for me.
Oh, nice. Awesome.
Shout out to you, Miss Kristen Rook.
Awesome. Great idea.
All right. An animal with an alligator head, a pig body, and monkey feet. You want to go first this time?
Yeah, can do. I think yeah, that I'm just no comment. It's like a bad science lab experiment, isn't it?
Oh my god, this is so good. All right, that's really good. All right, here's mine, and then we'll do a side by side.
I like yours. Look at the detail on that.
That's hair. That's pig hair.
Yeah,
legit pig hair. I don't know what the monkey feet though are about.
I like the eyes.
Katie says those are not monkey feet. Katie should shut her mouth.
I think I'm just gonna. I prefer yours over mine. That's all I'm saying. Mine looks like it's strange. I like yours.
All right, there we go. So put yours up on the screen, then we'll get a. Yes, Kristen, this is your contribution to Coffee with Humans. You could be on Coffee with Humans. You know, anybody can be on Coffee with Humans and participate in this game. Who gets the win here? Users, viewers. Let's give us a vote here. It's a animal with an alligator head, a pig body, and monkey feet. We'll look for your votes in the comments here. I don't know. I like the face on yours. I like the teeth.
The teeth.
The teeth are. It's an angry alligator.
Imagine having that in a kid's storybook. It would scare them, wouldn't it? Having something like that.
I am partial to the hair, though, on my pig.
Yeah, I think.
Katie says, I'm not sure either. One can win. Okay. I don't even know what to say to that. You're not. No. Somebody has to win. We're on a live stream broadcast here. Somebody's got to win this.
You could always do a poll. You could always do a poll afterwards. And,
I could do a poll. Yes. Oh, that's a great idea. We'll do that. We'll do a poll afterwards because I think somebody must win this. This is good.
Yeah, it's cool.
Oh, so have you ever? Did you take art class?
I didn't really pay attention like in the first few years of school. I did art, but I wasn't very good. I think my younger brother is very, very good at art, but me myself, I've not been. It's not really. I prefer like coloring in, but I think I'm too much of a perfectionist when it comes to the drawing side of it.
Oh, gotcha. So art was not really your thing. Were you like music or sports?
Yeah, I was mainly into PE. Like PE, I love physics and science.
Oh wow.
I'm really good in English. I had really good English teachers, really good science and physics teachers.
Yeah, I have never been a good artist, but later, now that I'm crossing into, I don't sure if I think I don't know. I'm 43 now. I don't know what that makes me. Not old, I know that, but not young. But maybe I am young. I don't know. Whatever. I'm like thinking I should be more artistic, and so I bought paints this past year.
Nice.
And little canvases. I think that's the plural of canvas. It's not canvi.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
So I bought canvas, and I've been like tinkering around with paints, doing some really legit terrible drawings, and paintings that they're not good at all. But they are what I could do.
Yeah.
And it was like if nothing else, it was just like this opportunity to just sit for a little bit and slow down and just pay attention to, I'm just going to make this thing here. I'm always disappointed because whatever I see in my mind is never what I can create on, like, it doesn't come out of my hands. I don't know how to do that. That's disappointing for me.
it's like what, when you see the image in your head and you're trying to get it on the canvas, it's like, it doesn't match up, you mean?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
Like the pig body. This is not a pig body. I tried, but it's not at all what I envisioned for a pig.
Yeah. I think it's practice, isn't it? I think it's like anything. I think the more you do something, the better you get at it. I kind of like learned about. Have you heard something called the compound interest?
No.
So like so compound interest is like, that doing something 1% each day builds over time, and it's something that I kind of done with like kind of working out and things like that. During the lockdowns, just doing, I don't know, say press ups or running or something, doing that like that 1% each day just kind of builds. And I think like that can be applied to anything.
All right. So taking the financial idea of compound interest and turning that into any sort of skill development.
Yeah, and whether that's podcasting or painting or writing or whatever it is, over time you just get better at it. And I think it's like when you look back at, I know, your first episodes or something. I look back to my first podcast episodes.
Yeah.
And my audio is terrible, and you can kind of see how over time where you've progressed. And I think you could probably do that with painting. I don't know, but I think like anything that we start out isn't always good the first time round. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I watched Joe Rogan's podcast when he did it 7 years ago, and you look at like where he is now.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I have experienced that as well.
Yeah.
So I think maybe a lesson to be taken from this. I was trying to pull something up here for you, but the lesson I experienced, for instance, like this with this podcast, was the first thing I put out there was, does anyone if you want to have coffee with me, I'll have coffee with you. And the only rule is no sales calls. It was just a LinkedIn message, just like one little line. And the first, or at least one of the first episodes, super cool guy named Frank, amazing conversation that I totally forgot to record. I just didn't even think about it. And then after that one, in fact, maybe I didn't forget to record it, but either way, I didn't record it. And then after that, I was like, how do I, so now what? So I had a great conversation with this person, but it doesn't do any value to anybody else because I didn't do anything with it. So then I started recording them and editing them down into little excerpts and putting them on LinkedIn. That was it. And each one was getting, 1,500 views or whatever. And it's pretty significant, but it was taking forever. It would take so much time. And then I ended up with 60-ish episodes that I never got around to editing. Which I guess I still need to do that. But the evolution of this over time is that, now I've got a cool little, banner across the top, and I've got we just played a game.
Yeah.
All these like little iterations. And you're right. When you look back just a couple months ago, and I shut this thing down twice in the meantime, because it was just like, so, I'd put it out there and all of a sudden, boom, my schedule would be booked. I've been trying to figure out what works in with my schedule. This is not my day job. And then what keeps people engaged and all this stuff. And you're right. It is that compound interest effect of just a tiny little investment every day, one little new iteration, and just experiment with it,
Yeah, no, it's definitely true. And I think, like you said, it's, they're just tweaking it and just experimenting and trying new things, isn't it? Because if you don't try, then you kind of don't know. And like you said, you can kind of see how you've grown and how it's changed. And I think it's that process, isn't it? That's something that I've definitely learned this year. Like me as a person, I feel like I kind of always want to hit the ground running. I like to feel confident straight away and to be doing it.
Yeah.
So through podcasting, it's really kind of grounded me, I find, and I learn about patience and the process, and it is difficult because there's a lot of time that goes into, like you said, the episodes and producing things and networking, but I think, like you said, over time, it just builds, doesn't it? And I think that's something that I kind of struggled with. That's something that I've learned as well.
Yeah. So what do you do to break through that?
What to
break through the idea of you're struggling with this idea that believing, I think maybe is I think that's where it sits. We believe that maybe the compounding effect is not good enough, or it's not beneficial enough, or it's not working. We believe it, but we don't actually believe it enough to do anything about it.
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing is as well, like, we're only human, and like, it's okay if we have days where we get frustrated. I have some days sometimes where I think, oh, I might have that negative talk, like, oh, is my podcast getting anywhere, or things aren't happening as quick as I want them to be, and that's all like kind of throwing ourselves, out into the future kind of thing. And I think, like, when you take a look at, when it makes your day when people give you good feedback, or they benefit from it, and then it all kind of connects, it all kind of makes sense, because you're like, it's like planting seeds almost, isn't it? You have to plant the seeds, and then the flowers grow over time, and there's that kind of initial process to it. And
Yeah.
you look at, I look at a lot of successful people, and what they've achieved in businesses, and you think it didn't happen overnight. And who's a guy like Kevin Hart? Kevin Hart, the comedian.
Yeah.
People see people for who they are now and where they are today and their title. They don't see that iceberg beneath, and all the hard times and the failures and the mistakes that kind of like led up to that. And yeah, I think it's quite powerful when you peel back those layers and you really look at it like that.
Yeah. Who do you surround yourself with? I'm curious. Who do you surround yourself that help keep you moving forward? That's my first question. My second question is what are you moving forward into? What's on your New Year plan?
Yeah. No, that's a good question. I mean, I've connected with different people online, and I'm really grateful for the friends that I've made and the connections that I've built through networking and for podcasting. So there's a guy called Glenn Lundy. He was on Forbes magazine, and he's got a morning show, and he does it like 5:30 in the morning, 5 days a week. He was on my podcast, and he's a really great role model of mine. People that I've met who have podcasts, just a lot of people kind of in say business or like the podcasting world, and it's not always about like people with the massive businesses and things. It's those people who are doing something that they love and enjoy. Like, I've got a friend called Jara McConnell in LA, really nice person, and she sent me some of these Marla bracelets.
Oh, cool.
And she makes these bracelets handmade, and she does these stalls and things like that. It's just like, wow, someone's making something and putting it out there because they love it.
Yeah.
And yeah, like, I like Gary Vaynerchuk, I like Kevin Hart, Joe Rogan, Jason Silver, Tony Robbins. I think like, it's important to be mindful of who you surround yourself with, or the content that you look at.
Yeah. So
Sorry, I know it's really
what's on? No, that's good. Because I agree with you. I think we need to not only have somebody somebody kind of like way off in the distance, like a visionary that we're following after, which would be, let's say, in your case, you're talking about Joe Rogan or Gary Vaynerchuk, other folks that from an influence standpoint, they have much greater influence from a broad scope, right, than you or me. And then closer to us, we need people in our circles, our close sphere of influence that are moving us forward. And I really agree with what you're talking about. The things that we consume, the content we consume, the things that we take in, have direct effect on the stuff that comes out of us as well. And I think we need some social pressure to keep us moving ahead, or most of us do. I'm not certain that everybody has the same level of need for extrinsic motivation or social pressure. What's on your future? The short or the midterm?
I mean, where am I? I mean, I'm 26 at the minute, but like I said, I've mainly worked in hotels and restaurants and hospitality, which I did enjoy.
Yeah.
But right now, I kind of want to, build on my coaching. I kind of want to, build my podcast, build my coaching, and if I can probably look at doing like webinars or courses. That's something I'm looking at, to build in the future, and just to build my podcast and to connect with other people, provide value and network. I think like I don't do my podcast to say oh look at me kind of thing. I'm doing it to provide value to other people and to network like with people like yourself, and then to recommend other people to other people, because I think that's kind of the game you're in, isn't it? And I think if we can try and be better than who we were yesterday, instead of like looking at someone else's show and say I need to be better than their show kind of thing. But yeah.
Have you found what your particular voice is? Like what in your coaching, for instance, is there a particular niche you're focusing on, or is there a particular group of people, or I guess the word is audience for that?
Yeah, I'm still kind of finding my way in it. I think I'm kind of around the mindset kind of coaching. I'm very goal orientated. Where are you? Where do you want to be? That kind of thing, like mindset. I think that's kind of something that I'm kind of leaning towards. But I think through gaining more experience, I'll probably find a niche really.
Yeah.
But I'm just quite happy, just kind of free flowing.
Cool, awesome. Well, as we're closing up here in our final minutes here, if what in your mind do you think? Oh, as Aaron, welcome. Thanks for watching. Just shout out to one of our viewers. In what can the community do for you? Where are you stuck in any way, or is there something that we can kind of pitch in as a community for you?
Yeah, no, I really appreciate it. I mean, if people, want to help me, just by, listening to the show that I have, the podcast, and, if I can provide, value in any way, whether that's, like free coaching, any advice on, anything, and just give me feedback on, what I'm doing, I'd really appreciate it.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, man, this has been great. I really appreciate you being on Coffee with Humans.
No, you're welcome. It's been great.
Thanks for drawing with me.
Yeah.
And thanks to my friend Kristen, who made that possible by sending me that fun game. She also sent me some cute socks, which I really liked.
That's pretty cool.
Little pizza socks. They got little pizzas on them.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I have some other I have some other socks that have sharks. It's actually got a person in a swimming, or like in an ocean, in a little bubble thing, and then there's a shark underneath. And I would wear them during business meetings if I was ever needing to do like negotiations or something.
Sidetrack people from within.
It was this subliminal thing like in my mind that's like after you. Zach, yes, pizza socks.
That's awesome.
Yeah, everybody needs to have something that like some I don't know, something that like at least maybe not everybody needs this, but I need it. I want it. I don't need it, but I want this thing. Like I have this thing. You don't know exactly what it means, but I have it with me. And it keeps me like keeps me grounded or keeps me moving or something like that. Aaron Hicks, I hope to be on your podcast someday soon. Well, good news. So easy to do. Just go to coffeewithhumans.com and schedule yourself. There's a button there. The only rule is no sales calls. Adam, any final words you want to leave with our viewers or listeners?
Yeah, just going to say, just wherever you're at, whatever place you're in, just keep moving forward, keep focusing on the things you can control in these strange times, and whatever it is that you want to do, just dive into it and just try, because if you don't try, then you don't know. And like I reached out to you and things like that, and if you don't reach out, the answer is no. And if you reach out, you might get a yes, you might get a no. But I think just keep trying whatever it is that you're doing. Just keep doing what you're doing.
Awesome.
You do what you love.
Yeah. Oh, that's totally true. Well, awesome. People can reach Adam at the Parrsitivity
That's right.
Podcast.
Yeah.
Awesome. To all of our viewers out there, subscribe to the YouTube channel. It's sort of newish. This has been on LinkedIn for a long time, but I just started focusing a little bit more on YouTube. So subscribe to the YouTube channel. And if you want to be on the podcast or videocast, coffeewithhumans.com. Adam, thanks so much, buddy. And viewers, thank
welcome.
you. Thank you for viewing. Have a loving day. See ya.
One of the things I love about Coffee with Humans are the raw conversations I get to have, meeting new people just like you. If you or someone you know should be on Coffee with Humans, go to coffeewithhumans.com. Remember, the only rule is no sales calls.
This has been Coffee with Humans. Subscribe to get updates or click to have coffee with me. coffeewithhumans.com.